So how could I help you achieve a 20%, 30% or more per year growth rate? Or if your goal is to sell your company, successfully find a buyer, how could I help you down that path? Because even though this video is about me, you don't care about me. You care about what I can help you do or what problems I can solve for you. And so I'm going to talk about the track record I've had in my career, some of those results, because I've done growth strategy and campaigns for small companies and big companies. And I've also been an entrepreneur in a company that went from startup to a 9-figure exit within 3 years. So pretty fantastic story. First, I want to talk a little bit with you about faith versus doubt. I first heard this concept from Myron Golden, very sharp guy. Faith is your belief you will get the outcome you desire. On the other hand, doubt is your belief, also a belief, you'll get the outcome you don't desire or an outcome that's undesirable to you. And you might be having some of this belief inside of you at any one time, both beliefs. And so if your faith belief is stronger in you right now, that's good news. You can see my track record, what I've done in my career, and see if working with me and my team would be a good fit together with you. On the other hand, if you're feeling more doubt right now, I would ask you, just for the next couple of minutes, suspend that doubt. Open your mind, even if you're at a stagnant growth rate and you think 20%, 30%, 40% growth is impossible right now. If that's your mindset, I'd ask you to suspend that doubt just for the next few minutes. Here's some of the things I've accomplished in my career and see if it opens your mind and might be a good fit for you. So I want to talk a little bit about 3 timeless principles, but first, share the blessing, a little bit about my career. I've had the privilege of sharing the stage with 2-time Super Bowl champion of the Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson, also won a national championship at the college football level with Miami. Got to be on the stage and share stages with Kevin Costner, the mega actor, Elizabeth Hurley, the supermodel and actress, Jeremy Piven, a number of others. So I can bring these insights and share some of those things I learned in being around and having conversations with champions and mega celebrities. What gets to that level of success? Next, I want to go into the 3 timeless principles that I want to share with you right quick that guide my business decisions and my communications. And the first one is about guilty by association, because it's all around this theme, these 3 principles, the theme of the who matters. Who you are, who you associate with, who I am, and if that might be a fit. So he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Now, the first 2 of these, that's from a Bible verse, because I found lots of timeless wisdom for living from the Bible, that it's a manual that can guide my decision making and help me be way more successful with people and in business. And so if you don't have enough wise people around you, think about the people you spend the most time with each week. Probably your family, your spouse and your children, your team and your employees. And if you don't have a couple groups you may not have thought of, your clients and customers, are they lifting you up or dragging you down? And if you don't have an advisor or coach or a peer group that you're part of that can help lift you up, I suggest you solve that problem and bring somebody in that life, because business is difficult, but with a coach, with a peer group, you can get to those levels that you desire. The second big timeless principle I'd like to share with you has to do with King Solomon. Widely regarded as the wealthiest human in history, also the wisest. But the particular timeless principle I'm talking about is name and fame, who he was known as. And he was known in all the surrounding nations. And now, there was no internet. There was no social media, no TV, not even any radio. But King Solomon still understood the concept that having a name, having fame, being known was a critical part of being successful, having a better life. And so we've got some strategies to help you build that name and fame for yourself and for your company. The third timeless principle comes from Warren Buffett. And he said it takes a lifetime to build a reputation, 5 minutes to destroy it. And so what I would add is, let's focus on protecting. It's better to protect your reputation than redeem it. It takes a whole lot more work to redeem your reputation. It's a whole lot more hassle, very difficult. And the people you've burned your reputation with, they may not even allow you to redeem your reputation, depending on what all happens. So shift your mindset toward protecting your brand, because you do have a brand right now. If we need to build it, and then protect it. versus redeeming it. So a little bit about my career in 3 phases. I worked, as I said before, with small companies and helped them mostly with their growth strategy and growth campaigns. 1 to 5 million in revenue, plumbers, electricians, cabinet companies, pest control, roofers. Worked with medical offices, dental and doctor's offices, auto repair shops, and also accountants, CPA firms, lawyers, those type of professional services, independent financial advisors. And without having the intention then, I do have the intention now to work toward being able, a company that would be desired by a business buyer. Even without having that intention, helped the cabinets company client I'm thinking of. The growth campaigns, the strategy we put in place allowed him to sell his company for a very satisfactory price. The second part of my career, I started working with bigger companies, 200 million to 800 million in revenue. And we talk about reputation, like Warren Buffett said. These companies came to me after their reputation had been tarnished. And so we worked with them on their reputation, their branding, mainly in Google, a lot of strategy around that. Learned a lot of things working with executive teams, corporate counsel, everybody having a seat at the table every 2 weeks we'd have a Zoom meeting. A lot of times people had inputs that slowed down the campaign. So that's where I pivoted back and I learned I really enjoy working more with someone like you. Business owner, 1 or 2 decision makers where we can move fast and get things done. And so that's why I pivoted back. And this next third and final phase of my career, being an intrapreneur at Alamo Pressure Pumping. We were a startup and grew from 2018 to 2021, grew to 750 employees and got around a $315 million all-in exit. You can look up the Alamo Pressure Pumping press releases, sold to a publicly traded company. Like I said, for around $315 million. I got to be in the boardrooms, the executive meetings, seeing how that process works, how we make decisions, the negotiations, very enlightening. Had a nice exit, and that leads into now, it hasn't all been roses and wins. I don't want you to think that. I've been through adversity, I've been through some stuff. And so the pain points I've been through, I'll highlight 2 of them in this video, is the first big pain point, I lost $60,000 investing in a compound pharmacy. This is before I'd found out, I became part of a peer group later in my career, but this was before I had the foundations of due diligence and some of those key things that I needed. What is my buy box? What is my target? And so this compound pharmacy was struggling, finances were tight, it failed, I lost my $60,000 because I'm not a pharmacist either, so I couldn't step in. So I learned that I'm not a turnaround specialist. That's a very unique skill set. So one big lesson learned. Second big pain point in adversity I've been through, lost about $200,000 on a patio company. And 2 big lessons I learned, that was part of my liquidity event from the Alamo Pressure Pumping liquidity event. And could call it an accident, but I knew what I was doing. It was just a bad move to buy the patio company because it's a needs versus wants based business. And I learned that being in the peer group with Adam Coffey and JT Fox, and they do mergers and acquisitions. Adam's been a part of $2.4 billion in exits, and JT's been a part of over 55 companies, brands that he's helped build. So in this peer group, I learned about due diligence, what is my buy box, defining the exact target company fit for what I'm good at. So needs versus wants. The patio business was a very wants-based, aspirational business. People's mindset turns a little sour toward the economy. It's easy for them to say no to that product, that $30,000, $50,000 outlay. That was one big lesson. Second big lesson is I've got to be willing to step in and operate a company if things go south. If I'm not willing to do that, then I shouldn't put my money at risk in acquiring that company. And so I've been through the pain, like I said, $200,000 loss on that, about 18 months of my life. I put way more time. I was supposed to be a passive investor, put way more time in my life into that business than I ever planned to at the start. So probably 1,000 of my own man hours into that business, attempting to bring on different salespeople, change the team, get things going, and it still failed. So those are the 2 big pain points I would like to highlight to share with you that adversity. And next we get to you. So what is the outcome you're looking to achieve? What is your ambition? What is your vision? Are you looking to grow to $1 million per year in earnings and just cash flow your company? We got a strategy and a path that can help you do that. Are you looking for a succession plan to your child or grandchild or your hand-picked successor. We've got a path and a plan for that. Difficult to achieve, but it can be done. Or third, do you want to sell your company for 1 million, 5 million, even bigger exit? We've got a path and a plan for that. I'd be glad to talk with you. Click the button below on this page or the description, in the link in the description, to get the next step of help.